Waves slapped against the hull like a ticking clock. Each crash, another second gone. Another chance lost. Captain Elias leaned over the rail of the Steadfast, watching the current pull pieces of driftwood out to sea. The sun was setting fast, painting the sky in shades of blood and gold. The crew waited on his orders. They were supposed to set sail at dawn yesterday. But one thing had led to another. The sails weren't patched yet. The maps weren't ready. The provisions still sat uncounted. "I'll do it later," Elias had told himself. And now the tide was leaving without them. He gripped the rail until his knuckles turned white. "How many tides," he whispered, "have I watched slip away because I kept waiting for the perfect moment?" If you've ever said, "I'll do it later," and watched days or dreams drift away, this story is for you. There was a time when Elias wasn't the kind of captain men followed without question. He was hesitant, careful to a fault, always preparing, never starting. He'd tell himself he was being prudent, strategic, responsible. But deep down, he knew the truth. He was afraid. He'd wait for the perfect weather before leaving port. He'd wait for clearer charts before exploring new routes. He'd wait until the crew felt ready. And the ocean, vast, merciless, alive, never waited for him. The opportunities came like tides, rising, peaking, and fading. And Elias was always a step too late to catch them. He'd stand on the dock watching other ships disappear over the horizon, ships captained by men with less experience, less wisdom, but more courage to begin. That's the curse of later. It seduces you with comfort, disguises itself as logic, and leaves you stranded while the world moves on. Before the Steadfast, Elias had served on a research vessel called the Meridian. Their mission: to chart the unknown waters beyond the Silver Reefs, a treacherous stretch where few dared to go. Elias was second mate back then, responsible for mapping and navigation. The captain, an old sea scholar named Drayden, trusted him deeply. "Elias," Drayden would say, "every great discovery starts with a single step beyond comfort." But Elias hesitated. Each time they planned to sail beyond the reefs, he'd delay. "We need better instruments. We should wait for the next tide. The crew isn't ready yet." And so they waited. One morning, another ship, the Horizon's Grace, sailed ahead of them, fearless and unprepared. Within weeks, word spread across the ports. They had discovered a new route, safer and faster, that others had been searching for decades. Elias never forgot the sting of that news. While he waited for the perfect moment, someone else seized the present one. He realized too late, later is a thief that steals silently.
Years passed. The lesson haunted him like a shadow. When he finally earned his own command, the Steadfast, he swore things would be different. No more waiting for the stars to align. No more later. But old habits have strong anchors. There came a day when he had the chance to prove it. The crew had spotted a distant island, uncharted, lush, glowing with strange lights at night. The men called it the Whispering Isle. Elias wanted to explore it, but the doubts crept in. What if it's dangerous? What if we're not prepared? What if later would be safer? So he waited. Days turned into weeks. Each morning the island grew smaller on the horizon as the winds shifted, until one dawn it was gone, swallowed by mist as if it had never existed at all. And in that emptiness, Elias felt something break inside him. He realized that procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear dressed as reason. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of beginning. He'd spent his life mistaking caution for wisdom, when in truth, it was just the fear of the unknown.
Then came the day the lesson would brand itself into his soul. The Steadfast was anchored near the Coral Strait, a narrow channel known for violent currents. They needed to cross before the storm season began, or risk being trapped for months. Elias had studied the maps, the winds, the currents. Everything pointed to one thing: go now. But still, he hesitated. He wanted to recheck the ropes, review the course, wait for the sky to clear just a little more. So he told the crew, "We sail tomorrow." That night, the storm came early. The wind roared like a demon awakened, waves hammering the hull, dragging their anchor across the seabed. The crew scrambled to secure the masts as lightning split the night. By morning, the strait was impassable, walls of jagged rock and foam where open water had once been. They were trapped. Elias stood on the deck, soaked, silent, staring at the boiling sea that had once been their path forward. And in that moment, he understood. Later isn't harmless. Later is the storm that steals your chance before you ever set sail.
In the days that followed, the crew repaired what they could. The sea calmed, but Elias did not. He replayed every moment, every hesitation, every not yet. The crew looked to him, waiting for orders, but this time he didn't hesitate. He called them together and spoke plainly. "I have failed you, not because I didn't know what to do, but because I waited too long to do it." The sea doesn't reward those who are ready. It rewards those who move. He looked around at their faces, young and weary. From this day, we act, even if it's imperfect, even if it's uncertain, because motion is the only cure for hesitation. And so they did. Every task, every repair, every course correction, done in the moment, not tomorrow. And little by little, the ship and its captain began to move again. Weeks later, the Steadfast finally cleared the strait. The sea stretched before them, endless and bright. Elias stood at the helm, the wind tugging at his coat, the horizon wide open. He smiled, not because the path was easy now, but because he'd learned the hardest truth of all. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to take the first step before later becomes never. He whispered to the sea, as if confessing, "The tide waits for no man, but those who dare to move with it, they find their way." He turned to his crew and shouted, voice fierce and alive, "Anchor yourselves in chaos, because hesitation is the slowest kind of death." The men cheered, the sails filled, the Steadfast surged forward into the unknown, not perfectly, not safely, but boldly. Because the truth is, you don't break the "I'll do it later" cycle with motivation. You break it with movement. So if you're waiting for the right time, stop. There is no right time. There is only now. Chart your course, take the helm, and sail. If this story spoke to you, subscribe to Anchor in Chaos, because hesitation may be natural, but courage is learned at sea.